beyond kind of who you were as uh, a young man who appreciated Black music, you also had kind of a fancy, if you will, for perhaps being an ambassador on a diplomatic
Yeah,
level.
yeah,
Can you kind
yeah.
of just give a little bit of what
Sure, sure,
that aspect of David Nathan is for
sure.
your folks? Because there's so
Yeah, yeah,
many
I got
aspects
it.
to you, so
Yeah.
many lives, if you
Well,
will.
and you know, Patrick, you and I could both talk about all the lives we've lived within the life we're in,
Mhm.
you know?
Yes,
So,
yes.
well, I can say this. I do wonder how what my parents thought of me, because I was a strange young child. I was. I mean, my interests were not the usual interests of a young boy growing up in London. I mean, I remember vividly, which kind of is that one of my first. This does make sense in a moment. Just bear with me, right? So one of the things that yeah, we had a cinema next to where we lived, and because my dad knew the manager of the cinema, he was able to get me a ticket one afternoon, I think it was matinee, to see The King and I. This would be in 1958, I think.
Yul Brynner.
Yeah, well, there you go. And there you are, Patrick, sporting the Yul Brynner look. And I'm sure it wasn't you who was your inspiration, howsoever. So The King and I, just fascinated me. I'm like, oh, it was like a whole world opened up. And when it came to doing a school project, this does, by the way, make sense. You'll have to just hang in there with me.
Oh,
Um,
I got you.
yeah, when it came to a school project, or it was for Parents' Day, I told my very advanced teacher, Miss Batterson, I said, I want to do a Siamese temple dance. Movement, movement. And she said, oh, all right. And I don't know how or where she found a 78 of Siamese temple dance music. Yes, and I don't know what I was wearing. I must have been wearing some kind of tunic. I don't know where it came from, if she got it or what, but and here's Parents' Day, and my mother's sitting there with all the other parents. And the kids are coming out doing poems and little dances. And then Miss Basson says, and now David is going to do a Siamese temple dance. So that's just an indicator of how I wasn't an ordinary child. And of course, plug, in my latest book, Through Seven Lives, there
That's
is a
perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
yep.
yeah,
Get
yeah.
that in.
The
Show it
chap,
again.
yeah. Well, okay, sure again. Okay, there is a chapter that references what one could say another lifetime as a temple dancer. However, let me move back to your question about being an ambassador. So, whatever it was, I fascination with the world. The world wasn't just Britain. There's something about the world and I can't even say what it was. Who knows what triggers thoughts in one's young mind to want to be a part of the world. And one of the things I do remember is that there was something called the World Fair. What was it World Fair in New York, which is where they had all these pavilions from different countries. And I
Yes, and
remember
based in set in
Astoria,
Queens.
Queens, yeah, yeah. And
Astoria. Hmm.
yeah, so I remember reading about that and I'm so fascinated with it. And so I can't really say that there was a particular moment, but somewhere in my like 13, 14, 15, I thought, I want to be an ambassador. I want to make a difference. I want to somehow see how I could help bring peace to the world. I don't know. I can't tell you where that came from. It didn't come from anywhere in my family, and it didn't come from any one person, but it was something about wanting to do something to make the world a peaceful place. And so I embarked on a hobby because I thought that if we could get, we could see how all the different countries connected with each other, maybe through diplomatic relations, and each country having relationships with other, that could create some kind of way of a world being peaceful. So off I went to all the embassies in London as a 15 and 16-year-old on Saturdays, and at school breaks. I would go to the embassies and say I'm doing this project, and I want to name I want to get a list of all your ambassadors in the world, and that was how it began. And it was kind of like, one thing I want to say here, because it's important for me to say this. My parents were, they were working class people. They were not, there were things, they didn't grow up with wealth. I mean, we lived above a fish and chip shop. And somehow, not that that was bad, but the point being, I won't say indulged me, but I don't know how they thought of me, but I'm ever grateful that they just allowed me to be myself. I mean, I don't know what they thought about this kid who goes to embassies, and and then we had a newspaper come one morning and take photographs of me, and it was the artist was his diplomatic bag. And so the point I
Yes.
made, yeah, so that it was a fascination with the world, and so that really has been the kind of the undergirding of everything I've ever done in a way.
Well, it is. It's as if every soulful diva and divo who you've interviewed over these many years was an embassy, and you
Wow.
have been so coined, so crowned the British ambassador of soul.